So, Trance Dungeon number 2.
Hmm.
This one, like right from the outset, felt way more difficult.
Yeah.
Um, I got a little bit accustomed to it, but the Endermen who were randomly dropping TNT that was blowing things up, and creepers blowing things up, and invisible creepers that I guess we'll get to that in just a moment,
Mm.
kind of like wreaking some havoc. Definitely made this one feel, I don't know, kind of out of control at the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, but it was still fun. But it definitely, I felt like there was a huge kind of like ramp in difficulty here.
I noticed. Oh, you can see the creepers riding on top of the Enderman if you're in
Oh, in
spectator
spectator
mode.
mode. Okay,
Yeah.
let me go back.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of people thought that the creepers had increased explosive damage, and yeah, it just seemed like this was a little bit shell shocking for most players as they came in. They're just like, "What is going on here?
Yeah, and
Why
so
am
I
I
mean, obviously the
exploding?"
TNT, yeah, has way more explosive damage than the creepers do, and so I guess
Right.
people might have gotten that because they didn't realize it was the Enderman dropping the TNT, and a lot of people that I've seen like didn't immediately realize that the ground was charged, and I
Hmm.
think like yeah, the moment I saw the Enderman holding the TNT, I immediately dug under the ground to see all the redstone torches down here. I was like, okay, I at least get that.
Yeah, and then it seemed like you never really quite figured out where the creepers were coming from, or
Right.
did
I
you?
never did until
Yeah,
yeah, I finally
I
ended
think
up
we talked
asking it.
about it
Yeah.
eventually.
But yeah, so there's invisible creepers on top of here, which I guess assuming that they never got detached from the Enderman, like how do they interact with players? Like, do they ever
Um,
see them and hiss or?
yeah, what well, they're silent, or no, they're not silent. I think what the deal is they just have a really short fuse and also a really short player detection radius.
I see. So you
So
have to be right up in their face, and then all of
yeah,
a
so
sudden it's
you
hiss
get,
boom.
I'm sure it's probably like 3 block detection radius. So once you get that close, it just insta explodes on you,
I see.
and kind of created the. I just thought that was a fun mechanic. Like I really want Endermen to be scary, and they're really not. And so like I always trying to think of a way to use them that makes them a threat.
Right. This
Yeah.
also had the side effect by virtue of the fact that, at least in 1.8, you had creepers riding Endermans, which meant the spawner appeared as a creeper spawner. I
Hmm.
never figured out where the Endermen were coming from,
Yeah.
and I really wanted to farm Ender Pearls and never got the chance because I broke all the spawners.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the one time I did try to use an Ender Pearl to my advantage, you had anticipated it and blocked things, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
And let's see. Okay, so you could go down here, which was not the way I originally went, but since this one kind of like dead ends,
Hmm.
um, yeah, there was just some loot and some creepers. Are you still in spectator mode? I can't see if you're following me
Oh,
around.
sorry.
It's fine if you are. I just want to make sure you knew where I was.
Yep, I'm following.
Yeah, these like going downwards is always easier than going upwards, and so like climbing down here, like it was not too hard to get in and light up and break spawners and back off when you needed to.
Hmm.
So after that first room, this was kind of a relief. It was still a challenge, but one that you could just kind of, I don't know. I felt like I had a good grip on slogging through it and like ways to attack it.
Yeah. This room down here, this isn't like nothing here is too threatening unless you make mistakes. And you just had the I guess the skill and also the fortune to not make any mistakes
Right.
here.
I did
Uh,
see, yeah, someone make a
I've had
mistake and recover pretty well after kind of like taking a fall.
one of the original playthroughs I did with just a few of my buddies that I always play games with. My friend got knocked down here before we had ever made any means of getting down here or
Right.
securing it. And this was back when the map had full Prot 4 diamond everything. And so he got stuck down here, couldn't get the light up, and there was too many creepers. They kept exploding every torch you put down,
Right.
and every explosion was more silverfish.
Right.
And so basically he went in with like full Prot 4 armor, and when he came out, like it was almost, I think it was almost dead. Like all his armor was almost completely done, like when he finally got out of it. But yeah, just a silverfish apocalypse down here. But yeah, this is just I don't know. I like to do, for some reason I was really interested in like these kind of basin type designs like this where you have to like go down into like a pit of pit of nope, like a bunch of
Right.
bad mobs and stuff.
Right. And I guess, yeah, these skeletons, that's right. I forgot. They all have punch bows, right?
Right, yeah. So like the mistake you can
The
make is
mistake is
pretty
to let them get
obvious.
behind you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. If you do that, then you're going to fall in the pit and then you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did see someone who ended up like falling down here and then managing to like block himself in and then climb back up
Hmm.
through some silverfish. I think, was it no leaf clover? I can't remember right now who it was I was watching. But yeah, then you come through this room, and you get to this room. This room is weird, and the way that it curves back is weird. This room is weird because this room I thought really looks like a trap, just the way the chests are set up,
Yeah.
and nothing is trapped.
Yeah.
And then I got up here and I saw the gravel and it said dig, and I was really nervous, but you dig and it just brings you, if I thought about three-dimensional structure, it just brings you back to the entrance.
Yeah.
And so you just went in a loop.
Yeah.
And I kind of know at least part of the reason from later on, maybe, that it does this, but I'm just curious about the design and what you thought about having it turn into a loop.
I think it was just, I don't want to say it's poor level design, but it was just, kind of running out of ideas, or I was tired. This,
Gotcha.
again, designed in like a really hectic 3-day period.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I like everything to loop back around on itself somehow. And being that this was just like a completely loop or a looped
I see. The
loop.
other one was kind of linear with a few little branches, whereas this path kind of like branches off completely from the beginning, and from here you'd have to go back to the
Right.
beginning to get to the birdcage and everything. Okay.
Right. So yeah, it's a little weird, but yeah, it's kind of like, what can you do? Once you've gone this far, you can't really turn around. So
Well, we'll be back to this intersection again in a moment.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and there was good loot here, and so that was a nice thing about like coming into this trance. Like after this first room, that really kind of threw me for a loop, and I tried to go up this way first, which had more of the Endermen and creepers, and was throwing me for a loop. Going down the other way, down
Hmm.
was easier, and it only had the creepers without the Endermen, and yeah, there was a lot of good loot, and so it felt like a payoff. Then in here, I'm so glad. I don't like parkour,
Hmm.
but the parkour is easy enough. I'm glad that I switched to the mode of trying to do the parkour, because once you try to do it, like, it's actually a pretty easy room.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You just
Um,
can't get too close to the creepers. Like
right.
you kind of got to stand. If you get on the edge of the platform,
Right.
you're
You
gonna
get to where you can
explode.
hit them, or you just stand back and use your bow, and then put a torch up there, and then once they're cleared off the platform, go and get it, and hope that none of them fell, from the platform above you on your head while you're doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made a real mess of it right at the bottom, and then at some point I decided to try to just start jumping up and lighting and breaking and jumping up and lighting and breaking, and then that really worked. And so
Hmm.
then I kind of like the room.
Yeah. I mean, there's ways that you can. I did nothing to stop you from cheesing it and just pillaring up in the middle, but
Yeah, that's funny.
I don't know.
That didn't even occur to me.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen anybody doing that,
Yeah,
so
I guess
I
if you
don't
had
know.
one or two random skeleton spawns up here, that would totally ruin it.
Yeah, you're
But
doomed
there
if
is
that
not a lot of,
happens.
yeah, surface area for them to spawn, so it's actually probably unlikely that you'd get any. Anyway,
Mhm.
then you come up here, and then all of a sudden it's like a drop back down. It's a
Yeah.
good blind drop from the point of view of I did not see the room back here that's spawning all the bad guys
Mhm.
until, later on when I kind of accidentally tunneled into it. But it was also another thing that just kind of like felt, I don't know, weird in terms of the shape. There was nothing wrong with it, just kind of like felt weird.
I have no idea why I did this. I was watching, I think it was that no leaf clover guy you were talking about. I think he stopped here and was just like, "What is this?" and
Yeah, and
started digging
he
in.
dug through, yeah, the
And
staircase to see if
it,
there's
it
something.
didn't really occur to me until that point where I was like, I don't know what that is. I don't know why that's here. I don't know.
Hour 40 of
The
72,
the
and you
one
make
thing
an
I did
unnecessary
like about
staircase.
it, like, was that people would think they could make this jump,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah,
I saw a couple people just, biff right into the wall and
yeah.
fall
Right,
all the way
because of the
down.
stair collision, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I have no idea why this is weird like that. It just is. We cannot question it. It is the hump of stairs.
In any case, I saw this room that I didn't necessarily want to go down into, and so my strategy ended up being tunneling into the back. And so I tunneled into the back of this room and came up right behind this chest and Made a mess of this because there were creepers or
There's
exploding
actually
endermen or something.
diamonds in here. Whoa.
There's what?
There's diamonds.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Never,
That's right. I opened this up
that's
and I was like under attack by silverfish and skeletons because something had blown up, but I was in the chest inventory, and so I just started shift clicking everything I could until the silverfish pushed me far enough away that the chest closed.
yeah.
I forgot about that because yeah, that was the first time you get diamonds, just like as diamonds to have. And yeah, I came in here and heard the gas, and I was like, oh great. There was a lot of spawners to take out through here, but it was again kind of straightforward once I kind of made my foothold into the room.
Mm-hmm.
And you come around the corner, and the signs do a great job of trolling.
Oh yeah. So that's another kind of inside joke in the CTM community. But there, you know Rock and Roll for Life, right?
Yeah. He plays tons of them.
Yeah, so he was streaming one night and playing this map that literally had 127 gas spawners in it.
In like a small area, or
yeah, like vertically stacked.
I see, and not like Final Fantasy just to discourage you from going through the air somewhere.
Like it was like you have to defeat this room.
Gotcha.
And so like that was like his dropping out point. He's like, okay, I'm done with this map. Had some good jokes in the stream.
Got it.
That's where that comes from.
I see. This, once again, the gas doing more damage and the silverfish apocalypse that they kept causing, and not knowing that I could reflect the fireballs potentially to destroy the spawner, and the fact that you get held up in this previous room, and so you've already spawned a number of them in here by the time you first visit. I ended up, having to come back after they despawn and build a bridge out and kind of like take a couple of tries.
This room used to be a lot worse until I actually added these the cages here, the walls.
Oh wow, okay.
So you used to just turn the corner,
and then it's like boom,
20 gas. Yeah, and they've got the explosion, like the extra explosion on their fireballs too. So this whole hallway would just end up being a nightmare.
I see.
So eventually I kind of put a wall there so you could at least kind of mentally prepare for it.
All right, well that's nice. I appreciate that. Then once the gas were cleared out, I saw lava at the bottom and I saw that it was spiraling down, and I was like, I hope I don't have to go down here. And we've got night vision on, and so it was like dark and I could just see the lava and not a whole lot else, and so I was hoping I didn't have to come back, and so I ended up doing the other portion of the one that looped around, and then discovered that I had to come back and came down to the spawners and got brave and just jumped down on top of the spawner and then saw the tripwire.
Yeah, that was confusing for a lot of people, but all it was is, like you said, it's just an ender pearl trap.
Yep. Yeah, I realized
I figured, you're going to have ender pearls by the time you make it to this point. You're going to have picked up at least one. One thing I didn't really, when I saw you turn around, I realized I should have put some sort of arrow or something down here to let you know, like, yes, you do want to go into this pit of lava.
And even with the lava pit here, like you'd even like shape the lava like in the shape of an arrow or something.
Right. I don't know why that didn't occur to me. Like, that's just one of those things you just don't know until you see other people encounter it, and then you're like, oh yeah, that I should have. Yep.
And I was talking to you, offline or whatever, and said, apparently if you want someone who's oblivious to, seeing the right thing to do or whatever, like I've been very good at it in this map because there was a lot of things that were obvious to viewers and different things that I kind of missed the first time around.
Yeah.
Eventually there were no other ways to go, and so obviously I came down here and I found this, and then there is this trap chest, which I think at the time that we're recording us talking right now, I've not come back to actually open this chest, but I will come back to open this chest and see what's inside of it.
Yeah. This was, if you notice, there was no other traps in the dungeon besides this one. So this was, I guess...
this is to catch you sleeping?
Strings. So yeah, this was like the comfort trap, I guess you could call it.
Right.
Like you've gotten comfortable, you think thethe's no traps, and then you
Right, yeah, I hadn't really backed off to think about it. Yeah, you're right. Trance 1.
Watch out.
Yeah. And that one also had the break the spawner trap associated with it as well, right? It was both the chest and the spawner in that one?
I don't think so, just chest.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't
I couldn't,
that devious.
Yeah. I couldn't remember, but I'd seen all the TNT, and also it was close to this lava. Yeah, I remember seeing the TNT, and then I was like, oh no, spark from the lava, and so I started filling in the lava, and then afterwards like realized I don't have a lava bucket yet, and so fortunately I didn't fill in all the lava and was able to get a lava bucket. Not that I used it very much. Lava buckets are kind of, yeah, like
They're pretty powerful.
they're pretty powerful, and so yeah, so I prefer not to use them, like treat them as a last resort kind of thing. But then I did end up lavaing down the staircase. So one thing I always find in a room like this, I'm gonna turn off my night vision really quick,
Yeah.
because there were a lot of things I didn't see in this room. Affect that P clear. Yeah, so in this room, let's see, when I'm on the staircase, yeah, if I'm looking for it now, I definitely see the wooden buttons, and you have light above it. I guess it's just that I'm not looking for it, but I totally did not see the wooden buttons. And so, yeah, you press the wooden button, and it sets off the TNT, which explodes the skeleton spawners, and the skeletons were one of the main threats in this room. And obviously you can shoot wooden buttons with an arrow, and so, yeah, once you know that, that can make this portion of the room a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
But I just didn't see it. And yeah, I was going to suggest more light, but I'm not sure that more light is actually what it needs.
I think, yeah, there's probably a way I could make it a little bit more obvious, like maybe with something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, any little detail that would, yeah, draw your eye over there a little bit more, I guess. I mean, you don't necessarily have to make it too obvious.
Yeah.
I guess that's, part of the point, and also maybe
I
I'm
think
out
the
of
idea,
practice.
right. The idea was I wanted you to run in here and then just get backed out by all the mobs and then kind of think, okay, let's take a second look and start looking around
I
and
see.
then, spot them. But there's a
Yeah.
lot of gas, so I can see how that's hard to do.
Yeah, I did not spot them. And yeah, I was really confused because I was playing gas pong and shooting gas for a while, and then at some point the spawner was just gone. And I was like, gas fireballs are not strong enough to destroy the spawner. Maybe there was TNT on top of the spawner and I just never saw the TNT. And it got set off, and it didn't occur to me until afterwards that it was like, oh, we changed the gas fireball power, and that made it possible for the gas fireballs to destroy the spawner. So yeah, that was again just kind of like game mechanics for not kind of thinking things through. Yeah, once the gas spawner is gone and once the skeleton spawners are gone, like this room becomes so much more manageable. I'm gonna give myself night vision again. I did like the creepers that were hidden behind the staircase, because I was in and out of this room a few times before I noticed that. And so that was, I don't know, it's kind of a trope to look underneath the staircase or whatever, but I didn't think of it, and there were a lot of other distractions in this room, and so it kind of got me.
Yeah, and I think that spawner is active pretty much.
Like while you're coming down the stairs or
I
standing
think
and waiting
as long
up
as
there.
you're up here,
Right.
yeah, it's your spawning creepers. So,
Yep, definitely seems plausible.
I like to do that, kind of get you pre-spawning mobs before you even realize it.
Yes, in general, I feel like a lot of three-dimensional structures of a lot of maps, the main value they have is having the player be within spawner range of spawner in room 2 while they're still doing room 1.
Right.
Apparently you're meleeing gas now.
Well, I suppose I could have done a kill gas, but I'm old school, I
It's fun.
guess. Okay.
Yeah, the noises of gas, man. I can only take like so much of it mentally.
Yeah, I want to do. I wish the silent tag worked on their ambient noises, but you could still hear their attack noises. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
Oh, interesting. I had no idea. I guess I
Yeah.
never played with silent on gas
Yeah,
before.
you can make them silent, but then when they shoot, they don't make any noise either. So kind of, I don't know if that's that fair.
Right, that's, yeah. All right, and there's tripwire around here, and this is the one place that I finally decided to try an ender pearl.
Oh, I'm so glad I got you with that. Yeah, I assumed, the reason for that, because I figured most people would get to those stairs and be like, I got an ender pearl. I'm just going to pearl in there.
Right.
And so this would kind of drop them right in the...
Yeah, and I think,
thick of
yeah, I
things.
think I've seen like 1 or 2 other people, yeah, also get hit by trying to ender pearl this one as well. And then, yeah, it wasn't until I like came over here to get the disc that I realized that there was even a hallway back here. And yeah, I guess maybe the video that went up today is the video where I'm standing here and I press the button and I hear an explosion and the wall is still here. And so I just turn around and go.
Yep.
And I just never looked over in this direction to realize. And because of the fact that I missed the secret key in version 1, like if I'd found the secret key in the first one, then I might have been expecting a 3x3 tunnel to appear or whatever.
Yeah.
But I figured the button was going to be a teleporter. It's just like in my mind it was a teleporter, and instead it was just like a troll explosion. And that was where my brain just cut off, and I happened to turn around to the left, and I just never saw it.
I've just never seen anybody like push a button, know something exploded, and
And it
not
even
look
like the
for
explosive
it.
particles are even
You're
coming
just
from
like,
the right.
okay.
Like you could see the smoke moving to the left.
Yeah.
But it's just like a detail that I was not ready for. I just came over here with the mindset of, oh, it's a teleporter. Great. Oh, it didn't teleport me. Well, crap.
It's broke. Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of, I don't know. I assume that was, I guess it would make more sense to work like the other one where the escape route would open up in this
Right,
obsidian
yeah. If you
area.
put this button on
But
this wall,
yeah,
like then I'd be looking at it and definitely, see it. Or I mean, there's things you could do to make
I
it
think
better, but I'm
it
not
was
sure
a
that it's
space issue with because the command blocks here are local, not remote.
Oh, right, right, right. Yep.
So you've actually there's blocks
Yeah, there's
behind
command
here
blocks in here that have to be there kind of thing, yeah.
yeah. So that was
Um
kind of my reasoning for that. But yeah, I also didn't expect anyone to push the button, hear an explosion, and just walk away. Like, pretty cool, I guess.
I'm glad I could yeah, provide some extra entertainment there. So yeah, I'm not sure that this one was bad, but it got me, and so it just goes to show that you can never predict what people are going to do.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then that brings us back around here, and so the fact that this did loop around, it also just kind of like immediately connects to the shortcut, and so if you've done the rest of the dungeon, then you know exactly where you are because you've been there at least twice.
Yeah.
So that part's good. You threw your sword.
Yeah, I just wanted to clear my inventory.
I see. And I think that's everything to talk about in this trance dungeon.
I think so. This one's pretty straightforward. Like, there's nothing too tricky about it.
Other than the invisible creepers that you have no idea where they're coming from.
Right. That's one of those things I probably should have explained, but then it's like you
Yeah,
said, it kind of
yeah.
would spoil it too.
Yeah, you
Because then
don't want to have
know
to,
that
explain things.
Enderman's gonna
But I guess,
tell you.
we talked about, I don't remember if we explicitly called it out when we were talking about it, but I guess if Endermen teleport or if you kill the Enderman, then the creepers get detached from the Enderman, and so then you've just got invisible creepers running around, and so.
Yeah, that was something I didn't really realize until I saw other people playing the map, and they kept running into invisible creepers. I'm like, why are they doing that? But yeah, there's something that's making them. It's either chunks unloading or
Well, I think just if you like
something
shoot an
else.
arrow at an Enderman and he teleports, like anytime
Oh,
a
right,
mob
any kind of
teleports, that
TP.
breaks riding. Yeah.
Right, yeah. That'll be
So,
nice. That'll be nice fix in 1.9 at
well,
least.
I don't think they've fixed. I mean, we have passengers now, but it's still the case that teleporting uh,
Oh, really?
breaks all the passengering.
It's just water that doesn't break it anymore. Because water breaks riders in 1.8.
I see. So in
If
theory,
they,
like once they actually fix it so you can ride a horse, you could ride a horse and go into a river and not get detached from the horse.
right.
I see.
I don't know. We'll
Well,
see.
hopefully, if they fix things, yeah,
Right.
we'll see. Fix your game, Mojang. I do feel like, in general, the game like trends upwards in terms of quality, but it's a very jagged path, and they break a lot of things along the way, and there's a lot of things at any given moment in time that are always broken, and so it's hard to
Yeah.
feel good about it overall.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a programmer, but I imagine they're working with a complex set of code that's been written over and over again and
Right.
by multiple different programmers, and yeah, it's probably not fun. But yeah, I try to look at it that way because otherwise I just have too many
Right.
complaints and grievances. I'm just like, I got some problems here.
Yep.
Uh,
Blaze spawner, kind of right near the entrance to Trance 3.
mhm.
I chose to just take out the spawner. I saw a number of people who just chose to kind of like run by, and the fact that, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that basically sprinting in this game is pretty OP.
Right,
And
right.
so, yeah, there's a lot of things you could run by, but like, I don't know, any particular reason that it was kind of like right here by the entrance, or was this just happened to be like where it got placed, or?
Honestly, I just thought it would be a nice little. I wanted to have a obelisk near the entrance of every dungeon, like relatively near, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can always come back out, and the obelisks aren't that challenging. Like I didn't want them to be too hard. So I thought if you got in a tight spot and didn't have heals in the
Oh,
dungeon, you
you could
could
come back and break the
come back
obelisk to
out
heal
and break the
up.
obelisk and heal up, right?
That never occurred to me as like a thing
So
to do.
right,
And I
that's
really
kind of
didn't take advantage.
a
It
good
seems like I was only as a result of watching other people. You can tell me if this is correct or not. The first obelisk you break, does it give you 2 hearts? The second obelisk give you 4 hearts? The third obelisk give you 6 hearts, like that?
yeah. So where that comes from is
The
uh,
absorption, just the way that it works, because you're like
it's
re-giving it.
well, it's health boost is the
Or
effect,
sorry, yeah.
right? So the health boost gives you 4 hearts or 2 hearts per level. But when you get an upgrade, so say you're at level 1 health boost, you got 2 extra hearts. If I give you an upgrade, the first thing it does is it drops your extra hearts to 0,
Right. Yep.
and then it goes to 4. So for each one of these that you break, I have to figure out a way to give you not only the 2 hearts that you should be gaining, but whatever hearts you had before. And eventually the math doesn't end up working. Like it works
Right.
on the first couple of obelisks, and then it just gets a little crazy. But yeah, it's just like one of the unfortunate ways that potion effects work,
Yeah.
which in most cases, like it works. It kind of makes sense, just not with health boost. You'd think it wouldn't reset, it would just compound on itself, but that's
Yeah.
how it works. So
I see. But yeah, it wasn't. I think I kind of like had a vague sense that I was getting more hearts later in the map, but it wasn't until I was kind of like watching other people that I really.
yeah, like if you've got 7 or 8 obelisks taken down, you can see it gives you. I think what it's doing is it's giving you instant health for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds. So um, unfortunately, like instant health 1 for 1 second is 2 hearts, but instant health 10 for 10 seconds, that's 20 hearts, which in most cases that's going to be more than enough to refill
Mm.
your health completely. So
But yeah, never
yeah.
occurred to me to use it that way. Um, let's see. And I guess the creeper spawner is pretty close to number one, and the cave spiders are vaguely close to the entrance of number two. This is
Hmm.
the only one that kind of like in my brain was like close to the entrance, but I guess it was mostly because it wasn't so much that it was close, it was that the only kind of like narrow passage of land kind of like forced you to go right past it, whereas you can kind of
Right.
avoid the other two when you're going if you're just trying to get at the trance.
Yeah. Yeah, the land's a little bit smaller around here.
All right,
Terrain, I guess.
but I guess now we'll move on to trance 3.
All right.